DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Wedding Chat with Dave Ternier and Jeremy Brech. No, really, you're on.
Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3. Is this thing on? Everybody,
Hey guys,
welcome.
I was trying to do that really awkward stare eating popcorn thing, and like every time I reached down for my popcorn, I really got nothing.
But
so it really took away the dramatic approach of that whole thing.
But the awkwardness was there.
Yeah, John's like, "No, did they freeze up? No."
That's just me when I eat. It's always awkward. Well, hey guys, it is Jeremy Brech and Dave Ternier. We are excited to be here once again.
Hello.
We were off last week, well, because obviously we're every other week now, which is actually great for us. It helps us with balance and family, and hopefully that does that for other people as well. But hopefully it gives you a little bit of a anticipation or a little bit of a break, whichever one you need, as we come into our show every other week now. So it's good. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. For the sake of our family and our balance of life. So
Indeed.
Dave,
and
you
of course
did the same haircut thing going.
Whoa.
Not crazy?
Wait. Has Glenn Mackay got the same haircut? Because if so, we need another photo.
No, I think he actually shaves his head now.
Glenn, wow.
I know. So what happens when you're down under?
When you're down under.
So
good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wedding Chat.
Yeah.
I'm Dave up in Canada. There's Jeremy down in South Dakota.
Way down in South Dakota.
Yeah, you're down under. In my books.
Well, but I'm in the northern part of the U.S., so it's, I don't know. I'm like in the central. I'm in the middle of everything.
Yes, you are.
I'm in the Midwest of it all.
I'm sure everybody knows, but of course, just a reminder, DJNTV.com/tickets. Use promo code DJNTV Show 2020 for a sweet deal on the show coming up in February.
Yeah. So if you do not know about the show, make sure you go check
out. Where have you been?
Make sure you go check out the website. Go to DJNTV.com/Vegas. And you can also find the Facebook page. You'll be able to find all the details on there. There's a lot of great presenters. And I actually asked my wife tonight, I'm like, hey, we would love to have you on the show tonight and kind of talk about some of the things that, we're going to be discussing in our presentation. So again, if you have not heard, the first thing is I'm not talking any lighting. I'm not discussing anything about lighting. Because I think a lot of people just realize that I'm this lighting guy, which yes, I love lighting. I love doing design, but we do so much more than that in our business. And I couldn't run my business without my partner in crime, which is my wife. And it's funny because I think I talk about this every time we have this conversation, but people are always like, how can you work with your wife? It's like, well, how can you live with your wife if you can't work with her? Why can you live with her, but you can't spend another 8 hours in the day with her, or, whatever that balance is. We really don't see each other. I think we see each other maybe 4 hours out of the week when it comes to, our work schedule. So I'm excited to share kind of my perspective. She's going to share some of her perspective and how it's benefited our lives and our business and just kind of the overall quality of what we do in our company and our family. So
nice.
I'm excited about that. What are you going to be talking about?
What am I going to be talking about?
Yeah.
Can't share that just yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
No. I have some plans.
Well, every time I've seen you speak, you've done a phenomenal job. So I am looking forward to your presentation.
You've seen me speak once.
It was phenomenal, though.
It was fun. Actually, there's been some talk about maybe doing that presentation or a variant of it, because this would be a very new audience that hasn't heard that presentation at all. So That's what, yeah. Word of mouth is the presentation Jeremy's talking about. I essentially have a business that survives almost only on word of mouth. And if anybody was to check my social media channels for my business and my website, you'd know exactly what I mean.
And billboards. There's one billboard in the Manitoba whole community, and Dave owns it.
Yeah, so word of mouth has been like insanely powerful for me. And yeah, I have done a presentation, 40 minutes, on all of the different ways I leverage word of mouth to work in my favor, split into 3 categories. So if that's what people want me to speak on, that's a very strong contender.
Don't do it. So it's funny that you talk about that. I had a sales meeting today. We're actually talking about wedding MBA, and we'll get there. But I want to talk about this because I thought this was so strange. I met with a couple today, and I always ask that question, well, how did you hear about us? And the groom's like, you know what? Here's the strangest thing. Typically people will ask, who do you have for your photographer, or who's doing your floral? Who's doing this? Who's doing that?
Yeah.
But he's like, I had multiple people. It wasn't just one person. It wasn't just 3 people. It was like multiple people. They didn't ask who's going to be your DJ or who's your DJ. They asked the question, are you going to use DJ Jer? Are you going to have DJ Jer? Like, they specifically asked that question. And it was multiple people. And that is nice. The first time I've ever heard anybody say that. And so I'm thinking, cool. Okay, who are these people? I would love to know who he was talking to, and just say, thank you. I'm flattered. B, thanks for helping me, with my sales pitch.
Yeah.
Because that, like you said, word of mouth is so powerful. And for that conversation, instead of being a question of who's it going to be, it's, are you using that specific person, and so on. So I thought that was pretty flattering. I was pretty humbled by that. That was cool.
That's really cool. I mean, I think that's obviously a reflection of some of the celebrity that has been created around the brand of DJ Jer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's celebrity at work right there. And I think that's where every DJ aspires to get to. So
now I just need to become a celebrity, and then I'll be well off. But
yeah, well, you're a celebrity in some circles, maybe not for quite the reasons you were hoping. So
I won't. I do have a YouTube channel, but I'm not going to post those videos.
By the way, Glenn Mackay has a comment about the hair. His comment is simply 4 words. Mine has less gray.
No, it doesn't. I've seen his.
The silver fox, folks. So you were at Wedding MBA last week.
Yeah, I was going to say we were.
I was not.
We were talking about the DJNTV show that's coming up in Vegas. What?
Hold on a second. You teased us earlier by saying you talked to your wife about coming on tonight, and then just like let it drift away.
Well, that's all you needed to know. We are going to find a time where she can come onto the show. The answer is no, Dave. She's not coming on
tonight.
Is not the night. We had kids dropping off at church. We had to pick them up. I mean, I don't know why they thought they had to come home. But we had to just running around nonstop. And she's just like, I'm shot. She's like, I can't do it tonight.
That's fair.
And I'm like, all right, I get it. And again, so that whole thing, that's what our seminar is going to be about. So again, I think it's going to be a fun seminar. She does not like to speak in front of a lot of people. So we're going to see how this goes. I think having her on the show might actually be a good kind of a warm up to how she's going to be involved in that presentation. So it'll be good. But so the cool thing with that, talking about DJNTV show in Vegas is, we're going to talk about Wedding MBA, but I encourage people, whether it's the DJNTV show in Vegas, or it's Wedding MBA, or it's LDI, or it's Mobile Beat, or whatever that show is, networking is such a powerful thing. Yeah, and that is why we have been very successful in, meeting the right people when we go to these conferences, because we take time to get to know people and understand about their business. So the thing I loved about Wedding MBA is it's not just DJs. It's not just, photo booths. It's not, there's a variety of everybody, officiants, floral. And, DJs are probably thinking, well, why do those people matter when it comes to my DJ business? Well, think about it this way. And this is how I kind of explain it to couples. When we do a wedding, as an MC, we are the ringleader of that reception.
Yeah.
We have to know everybody's role. We have to know exactly what they're doing. They have to know exactly what that timeline looks like, what the flow of the event is going to be, with the locations of all the different opportunities, such as a introduction, whether it's you're doing a surprise introduction where all the bridesmaids and groomsmen are coming in this door, and then all of a sudden the bride and the groom come through this door. Misdirections, those type of things. Photographers need to know those things, and so it's great to go to conferences like Wedding MBA, where I have now an opportunity to talk to cake decorators. I have a chance to talk to florists, and I have a chance to talk to photographers and videographers and officiants. Ask an officiant, what is it that you hate about DJs? Or what is it that you hate when you're doing an outdoor ceremony? What is lacking? When you talk to a florist, what is lacking when it comes to lighting, when it comes to your floral centerpieces? And so, as a lighting designer, those are questions that I ask these people. Same thing with photographers. What do you hate? And luckily, as DJs, we finally have gotten away from these laser dots and like these moving crazy lights, and production levels have gotten a lot better and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, but there's still a lot of DJs that are still using cheap lights that are just going through Sound Active, and they're not actually interacting with the dance or the moment. They're just on. So again, the networking with a lot of those professionals in the different categories of the wedding industry, I think is extremely powerful. So again, looking at the DJNTV conference here coming up in February, I think it's going to be really powerful that we're now combined with Photo Booth Expo.
Yeah.
And there's 4,000 people that were there last year. I mean,
Photo Booth Expo, yeah.
Imagine the networking you're going to be able to do as a DJ with photo booth companies. And also, if you're looking into getting into photo booths, you now have an opportunity to dig into some of that education and so on. So again, when I go to a conference and talking about Wedding MBA, that's one of my biggest takeaways, is not so much of the education sitting in the seats, but the education of talking to people and getting to know what their perspective is of us on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So how was Wedding MBA overall this year? Was it as good as before? Was it flat? Was it a little bit?
So the energy this year was incredible. And the reason I say that is, I'm involved in the show. I help out with, some of the lighting and stuff, or just really simple stuff for the stage, as well as anything that Shannon, who puts the show on, if she ever needs help. So like when David Tatera does his presentation, this is the third year he's been there. I help out with moderating and the Q&A. And again, I basically built this relationship with Shannon. So she knows that she can trust me. I know that I kind of know what she needs done in that entire process as well.
Right.
And so, asking it, when I talked about the energy, I'm like, wow, it's amazing this year. And they had like, which they call the Cottonwood, which is their main stage.
Yeah.
I was looking and I'm like, man, it's just packed. Like it's full in this room, and there's got to be over 3,000 seats. And I asked her, I said, what were your ticket sales this year? How many badges did you guys hand out? And she said, I'm sure this is with the vendors and everything. So vendors, the trade show, the education, everything, they had just under 5,500 people at this show this year, which is it's incredible. When you think about 5,500 people of all industries coming to this one conference and sharing, socializing and just really, really just coming together to share. I think that was such a cool thing. So it was a good energy.
So did you have any main takeaways? So I'm looking at Cottonwood Room, Monday, full house, sales storm, venue fixation, demanding couples. Some of the themes that were on stage that day, some of the presentations. Any of them?
Oh, you're looking at okay. Yeah, so I actually did sit into some of the venues, and I thought was kind of interesting. They, some of the things that they brought up was like basically finding specific vendors and having them exclusive. Some of the venues talked about that.
It's a common thing up here.
yeah, they had a Q&A thing, and they asked these 5 people on this panel. They said, do you work with exclusivities, and do you, how do you handle those, or those type of things?
Uh-huh.
And there was most of them said, no, we don't have exclusive vendors because what we do is we now eliminate the opportunity for our couples. We take away the possibilities, because our couples aren't always looking for the same exact DJ. They're not always looking for the same kind of company. And that's a great thing, I feel, because I'm not the best fit for every client. A, price wise, I'm not the best fit for every client. And B, my personality type is not the best fit for every client either.
Right.
I have people in my market that, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I have people in my market that are like, they would crush a mitzvah. I mean, they're very excited. They're breakdancing, that kind of thing. And they're doing that for a wedding. They are perfect for certain couples. You will not see me breakdancing on a floor. Yeah. So again, that's why I feel like you have to kind of leave that open as a venue, or, even a wedding planner. I talked to a wedding planner in my market, and I said, gosh, I wish we had the opportunity to work more together. She goes, well, I thought you were exclusive with this wedding planner. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. We work with all different wedding planners and so on. So she's like, oh my gosh, that's so good to know, because I would really love to use you. I just felt that you and this other wedding planner were basically a team, and you guys always did everything together, and your work was always together. So again, it was good to kind of clear that up. But it was really cool kind of hearing the venue's perspectives.
Yeah, I mean that's a hot topic up here in Canada all the time, even as recent as 3 or 4 weeks ago on one of our main Facebook groups for the CPDGA, was venues creating exclusive arrangements. In this case, it was with DJs. Yeah. So were they saying from the stage that that's not the way they're wanting to go?
Well, again, it was like 3 out of the 5 say, no, we don't do exclusive. And then the other 2 were like, this one guy owned like 20 venues across the North America. And he said, we have certain venues that we do exclusive. We have certain venues that we don't do exclusive. And the reason some of them were doing the exclusive is because we've seen, this is quote, he's like, we have seen so many DJ companies come in and don't treat our facility with respect.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It does. Yeah, I certainly empathize with the reason they do it. I might not like it, but I do understand why some of them do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was good. I did sit in the DJ on Monday. The gentleman who was talking about, he was out of Dallas. He was talking about like the gear and all this kind of stuff, the upcoming gear, which I'm pretty on top of, like the new stuff that's coming out, like the new controllers, the new lighting, the new sound, all that kind of stuff.
Are you talking Dan Quinn?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
And, I think at an entry level, I think he brought a lot of good points up to people who might be trying to figure out what's my next controller, what's my next speaker, that type of thing. So I think he had some very valuable stuff to share. Again, I think I know a lot of that stuff already.
Yeah.
So, but it was good to listen to. I did like the part where he was talking about speaker disbursement, and he talked about why the Evolve 50s are so popular and why they're such a great speaker. And then he talked about some of the other speakers that, the smaller the cone or the tighter the cone, the deeper the cone, the more straightforward of a dispersion it has. The thinner the cone, the wider it is. So
got it.
He's like, the Evolve 50s are really popular because they have 120 degree dispersion. So you can put them on your dance floor here, and it's going to cover pretty much your entire dance floor area.
Yeah.
So again, I was like, oh yeah, physics, that makes sense. And he talked about, using satellite speakers. And again, I mean, a lot of that stuff I already knew, but it was I think it was good for the DJs who maybe don't use satellite speakers, or they don't really kind of keeping some of those things into consideration.
Yeah.
He talked about the wireless technology. He talked about, and he was running short on time, so he skipped through a bunch of the lighting stuff and all that. But the thing that I kind of took away that was more of a speaking critique is he had a lot of good content.
Okay.
But he spent about 10 minutes talking about why you should use a MacBook and not a PC. Okay, so it wasn't
you know what's ridiculous about that is that he
gosh,
needed 10 minutes to say his point.
That's what I'm saying. So
I mean, that argument can be summed up in 30 seconds why you need one.
So anyways, so he spent so much time talking about processor speed, talking about this, talking about that, solid state hard drives. And I think he burned so much of his time talking about the specs of a MacBook as opposed to digging into a lot of the content regarding the lighting and regarding the microphones and, some of the stuff that I feel like he really could have hit some home runs on.
Okay.
So again, as a speaker, as myself as a speaker and seeing him as a speaker, I think if he would have tightened that up, his presentation really would have been a home run all the way through. It just really drug out in that first 10 minutes, which I felt bad for him, but obviously, you have to kind of stay in your time frame as a speaker. So, practice your speeches, those type of things, which again, as wedding entertainment director or wedding entertainers, we have to always kind of go through our scripts, make sure we're practicing. We know our timelines, we know our scripts. So again, that just kind of brought, as a presenter and as an MC, kind of just looped it all together for me. So
got it. Got it.
And then Jen I talked after him. So I got to see Jen I speak. That was entertaining. I think this is the first presentation that he did not swear. So that was exciting. I talked to him beforehand. Right when I arrived, I came up the escalator and there he was. He was with Jeff Scott Gould and a couple of the other people. And I said, I came here today on Monday just to see you speak. And he goes, oh, come on. I'm like, no, really, I did. I was in my seat before he started and he's in the back. And I look back and you can see Jason like updating. He's over here typing on his laptop. I sent him a text. I'm like, your presentation should be done by now. He goes, he's like, oh, just got to make those last second tweaks. So
listen, this is a guy who's used to giving a presentation at a conference about what he learned at the conference, staying up all night the night before building it. So I mean,
I know. But no, he really did a great job. His presentation as a whole was really tight. He really kept everybody engaged. And again, it was fun to see him because, I've got to work with Jason for the last couple of years, working on Mobile Beat, those type of things.
Yeah.
And, for years, Jason was like, I don't want to speak. I don't want to present. I don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. And then he had 2 seminars this year at Wedding MBA.
2.
So, yeah. I thought that was really cool. And I think it's a good position for him because, again, I think as a DJ, his reputation is really good, but I think as a presenter and what he does in his branding and all of those things, I think he has a lot of value to share to people. And, you look at some of these speakers that are traveling the country, they're making really good money speaking for 60 minutes at a time. We here in Sioux Falls, we're bringing in a guest speaker, which I can't mention it yet. But I mean, he's 6 figures and we're bringing him in July.
Wow.
And, it's like everybody has to start somewhere. So, get yourself on the speaking on the dockets and get yourself to go to the conference here in February where Dave and I will be, and watch some of those presenters, see how they're doing their show or their presentation, learn from that. And don't just listen to the content, but look at the body language, look how the interaction is happening, and, take those baby steps and get yourself involved in presenting.
Body language. Are you getting 6 figures for being there in February?
You're not?
John!
I get paid in pesos, my friend.
Yeah, pesos indeed.
It's Canadian, so it's only like $200.
Right. So I'm curious about Jason's presentation. was it purely presentation, talking, maybe some visuals to help out with, or was he demonstrating certain things and skills?
He really
was it theory or practical?
It was a little of both. So he didn't really have anything on his slides except for words. It was basically, here's a word. Now I'm going to talk about that word. You know, it was about hustle. It was about working hard. It was about perception. I mean, it was. I don't even have my notes actually, but
Nice.
yeah. I mean, he didn't need this glamorous PowerPoint to get his point across.
Yeah.
And I think that's really powerful as a presenter, where if you can keep people engaged with what you're saying and what you're doing as opposed to what they're seeing, then I mean, it shows you as a really good presenter. And
yeah. So did you pick up a few things from him? I mean, his topic was scratching the surface, adapting club DJ techniques to weddings, which club DJ techniques translate directly to weddings, how to build momentum. Is there anything you can share that kind of stuck out in your mind for you that he said?
Yeah. So he basically said, you know, take away the persona of what a wedding DJ is. And so many couples now, they're looking at weddings as this is their party. This is their club. And he talked about, you know, when you're doing cocktail music or dinner music, he's like, I mix that whole thing. He's like, I'm not just putting it on. He said Rod Stewart's greatest hits. You know, I'm not.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
He's like, I'm not throwing that on there. He's like, I'm mixing. He's like, I want people dancing before the dance starts. So when we say, hey, the dance floor is open, they're like, oh, hell, I was already dancing. Let's get out there. So he talked about, you know, keeping people energized from the time they walk into the doors and not just playing candlelight music and being like, oh, everybody chill. You know, we want you to just be comfortable. He's like, no, I'm playing club music. I'm getting people excited in their seats. He's like, if they come out on the dance floor, I'll turn it up. He's like, I'll keep them going. So, yeah. And he kind of mentioned that, you know, so many DJs, well, okay, let me back up. He said, I'm at a wedding DJ I'm at a wedding conference. I don't need to tell club DJs to start working into weddings. He's like, what I need to do here is I need to tell all you wedding DJs to start working yourself into social, to clubs, to, you know, get yourself engaged into that atmosphere, because that's what people are going to want. And it allows you to step out of your comfort zone as a wedding DJ and really dive into the music and the culture around you. So again, I thought that was really cool. We don't do you do anything with nightlife?
No. I mean, ages ago, a decade, 15 years ago, I did some stuff, but nothing major. No. You?
No, we really don't get into that. And I think the big reason we started doing a couple years back, we started doing trivia. We started doing some of those things. The reason we kind of bowed out of that is because it's like, well, crap, now I got to find somebody to work that night because the person who was supposed to do it can't do it now. And, you know, trying to fill the schedule, trying to make sure that we keep the night engaging and fun. And, you know, I didn't need that stress for $75, $125.
Yeah,
It's not worth my time. If my guy can't show up, I'm not going to run away from my family to go do trivia for 2 hours at a bar. So we kind of shied away from that. And, you know, I don't know, the nightlife thing just isn't really, that's not where I want to be on a Friday night.
Yeah. Well, and you guys, and I mean, Sioux Falls you know, Pinnacle Productions, they do a lot of interesting nightlife stuff as well. So, yeah. I mean, this is going back to what you were saying earlier, right? You know, you, Jeremy, are a fit for certain things. I'm a fit for certain things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really, you know, a lot of people try to be everything to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, kudos to guys like you who said, you know what? Nope, not going to fall into that trap. The busy trap, as they call it. Yeah, you know, and I certainly relate to the messaging that you're sharing with me that Jason shared on that stage as well. I'm certainly, you know, looking for different edits of songs and that type of thing. Whereas, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, you know, playing an unusual edit of a song out here would have been almost unheard of.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe it's true for the Sioux Falls area too. I don't know. But now, you know what, when I'm able to pull off that creative edit that, you know, I track down or whatever, and people go, oh, this is that song. Oh, but well, now it gives them something new to experience because they've heard the standard stuff on the radio all the time. Why don't I take something that's familiar to them, but create a different version of it that night for them?
Yeah.
Not that I'm creating it. I'm simply utilizing it from my toolkit, right? But
so if you don't know, Jani spins, or he does mixes and puts them on DMS. I don't know if you're familiar with DMS at all.
Right, okay. Right. Direct music service.
So
right.
Yeah. And I have a thing on DMS, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't been on there for a while. I'm going to go check it out. And he talked about, you know, throwing like that curveball in there and throwing some of those fun things. And he did that Tuesday night. He played, all of a sudden you heard that doo 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 doo. You know, it's like the Little Mermaid opened up. But the funny thing is, like, people owned it. They loved it.
Right.
So I was on there, and as you know, Lizzo's "Truth Hurts" is a huge song right now.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah.
And so I found this one. It was Lizzo versus Whitney Houston. It was "Truth Hurts, I Will Always Love You."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there's a part in the song where Lizzo's like, "Love," and then all of a sudden you hear, it was and you can just tell it's like, oh my gosh, that would be such a fun energy and such a huge curveball. But
right.
You know, when that song drops and you hear Whitney Houston singing, everyone's gonna be like, oh, and they're just gonna sing. You know, they're just gonna be all in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they can sing or not. They're just gonna scream from the top of their lungs singing that song.
Right.
So it is kind of fun to see some of those things on the, you know, on DMS and DMP and some of those other ones.
And just so that, you know, for anybody out here that maybe doesn't do a lot of fancy cutting or mixing and that type of stuff, look, I'm not a mashup guy by any means, but, you know, some of the DJs that you all maybe look up to for those skills, one of the tools that they're bringing to the table that you're not is they're sourcing these incredible variants of these songs so that when they bring them into their set just gets this completely unique feeling that they're known for, which is why, you know, many of us know about these guys.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of when I was going through there, so for the last, I don't know, when did Old Town Road, that last spring, when Old Town Road first came out, I was looking at the BPMs and I'm like, okay, I need a good song to transition from that, because it's like, it's like what, 68? I mean, it's like super slow.
Right. Which is like 136 if you double time it. So
right. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I did. And I'm like, what would sound good with this? So then I found a good mix. I would use Old Town Road, and as soon as it would go into the, you know, as soon as it would get done with the opening, it took my horse. As soon as it would get done with that and go into like where he starts rapping, I drop the opening loop of oh my gosh, Timber by Kesha. So it's got that harmonica riff, which sounds very country-ish, and it actually matches beautifully with the song. You can play that entire loop through the entire song, and then as soon as it gets done with the song, then you have Kesha kick in. But when I was on DMS the other day, there's one that actually has that already embedded into the track.
Yeah, it was like the first popular remix of that song that came out, I think. Yeah. So I again, I mean, open yourself up and go look at some of those music edits, and, you know, reach out to the people who are making these great music edits and see, you know, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why they did what they did. Like I said, I never would have pictured Lizzo going into "I Will Always Love You," and when you heard it, you're like, oh my gosh, I got chills. It's so cool. So enough on that. Probably. So the other things from Wedding MBA, biggest takeaways. There was a gal, I wish I knew where she was from. I think it was like down south in Alabama-ish. But she did a Instagram presentation, and she was dynamite. Like, she was so good. Sarah is more focused on our social media stuff, so I don't have a lot to do with social media. I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I paid attention because she was engaging. She was a lot of fun. She was funny, and she had really good stuff to share.
So she talked about some of the loopholes and some of the things that you could be doing in Instagram to really capitalize, using contests, using like all these different things. But my biggest thing that I focused on is, so she takes care of all the social, I take care of the website and everything. Alan Berg, always one of my favorites. And I had the opportunity to sit in his presentation. He had like, he's like 3 or 4 of them every time at Wedding MBA. But this one, I was like, okay, this one's on optimization and website layout and things like that, which I've seen before, but he always kind of gives it a different spin, or he does something different with it every time, which I thought was really valuable. A couple of the things that I really appreciated was, he talked about how people have such a short attention span anymore. And if your website is not focused for mobile, you're going to lose out. And we've been hearing that for the last 5 years. I'm like, yeah, mobile, we get it. But then he was actually showing what is going wrong when you open up a site on mobile. So what he would do was he would show the desktop version. Like, he's like, oh yeah, this is a beautiful picture. Here's a bride and groom. They're holding hands in front of this beautiful brick wall with all these vines coming down. It's a beautiful, beautiful photographer's dream picture right there. He goes, now let's look at it mobile. He showed it in mobile, and all you saw was a brick wall with vines. That was like the splash screen when you first opened up the website. You couldn't see the logo. You couldn't see any of that stuff. And he said, this is what's going wrong in mobile. So many websites are responsive, and they'll shift and they'll do this. But what's not working is the fact that when it goes to mobile, you might be cutting out your main subject, which is the bride on the left and the groom on the right. Yeah. So he said, look at it in mobile, look at it in Safari, look at it in, Firefox and all these different ones. So I thought that was really good information. I actually messaged my video guy as soon as he had said that. I said, we need to re-optimize our video. And I want you to look at it on your mobile phone when you're done with it. Oh. And so he did that, and he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that, I was cutting off the bride here, and I didn't get the, you saw like the back head of the father of the bride when he was dancing with his daughter. So again, those things really become important. And he also talked about the load time. Again, they have 3 seconds to load their website. We have such short attention spans that if it doesn't load in 3 seconds, they're out of it. They're already moving on. He said, so video is very powerful and impactful, but it has to load quick. He's like, it has to be like a 20-second video, 30-second video. As soon as you start getting into a full-length film as your opening video on your website, he's like, it's going to take way too long and people are going to leave. So again, we condensed our video, which is originally 1 minute and 20 seconds. We condensed it into 20 seconds for now until we can start working on some compressions and get some of those things fixed. Right. Some other things that I really appreciated from his presentation was your buttons have to be thumb size. He's like, if you can't just push the button with your thumb, it's too small. He's like, you should be able to navigate your entire website by going like this with your thumb and by clicking on any links with your thumb, not having to expand it and then click it. Like, everything should be nice and big to be able to click on. And then also the buttons on your site. The buttons shouldn't say read more. They should be something that is going to engage them to actually want to click on it. So instead of, our team, we have the best DJs in the area, so on and so on, read more. He's like, it should not say read more, because people don't want to read more. They want to meet your team. So it should say meet my team or meet our team. So that call
take away the generic language that has no personality whatsoever.
Yeah. So again, I thought that he had a lot of great input. I have so many more notes on his presentation, but we actually have 5 minutes, and I just want to kind of open it up to questions, or I guess some things that you're looking at your social media and your website and your, those type of things. What are some of the things that you're kind of seeing as trends, or what's falling apart?
Right. Quick comment here in the YouTube chat from G&M Event Group. I think I've heard of them before. He says, this must be in relation to when you broke out into Whitney Houston there. He writes, I come for the chat, but stay for Jer's singing. That's very good. Very good, Glenn. Hey, I see that Christy Osborne was at Wedding MBA. Did you see her presentation? Because I've seen her before, and she was really good when I saw her before. She was Cottonwood Room to Tuesday morning. True Detective was the title of her presentation. Clues to find more wedding couples. Nope, must have missed that. She was really good.
I think I caught the tail end of hers.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
She was, yeah, if anybody's, I had a chance to see Christy and get to know her a little bit in Nashville this past August when I was down there for a DJ event, and she's exceptional. Mountainside Media is her company. If anybody wants to look up somebody that's kind of like, it's incredible. I mean, she's a data nerd would be the way to maybe say it, but not in that nerd fashion. She's just really poised, really incredible person. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
A few comments. People don't realize that most kids, quote unquote, under the age of 25 don't use computers anymore. They do everything on their phone, 100%. Yeah. I also heard to not have video auto start with volume on your home screen because some brides shop at work and close your site if it makes noise. Yeah, I think most videos that autoplay, I mean, they're just silent things in the background, aren't they? That's what you've got, Jeremy, I think.
Well, so that's a great point, because there are certain plugins that you can put on your on WordPress that you can play the video and it will actually play the audio. So here's the thing. I agree. Don't put audio on there. But maybe if you do, just put the audio when you make that video, put your audio at like 10% or 5%. So it's like it's there, but you can barely hear it. Like you would have to turn it up 100% for it to be like too loud.
Well, but you know what? What if somebody wants it though, and they're like cranking their sound, and they're looking at their phone, going, "This stupid website! I can't turn the volume up on their damn video." What do you think, folks? Volume or no volume?
Well, see, so like our video that my guy made, it works without volume. But if you actually listen to it with music, the music that's embedded on there, you're like, oh, it really makes sense. Like it is so much more impactful. You get chills when you hear it with the music because the energy it creates. It's like when we as wedding DJs, you know, we can be up there and interacting and we can make this show. But if there's actually music and sound, that's obviously what makes us the best at what we do. So same thing. I mean, when you got a video that is really impactful because of its audio, it just kind of tells the story or creates the energy a little bit more.
Right. Got it. Let's see if there's anything else I want to ask Jeremy about from Wedding MBA.
You know the G&M Solutions, the geek that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Alan Berg, man, he ripped on his website.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, talk about needing a website overhaul. Woo-hoo.
Well, I mean, I hear he takes pictures from everybody else and he just rips off content.
Yeah. That guy, he's always contacting me saying, hey, can I use some of your photos?
Oh, he's going to kill us. He's another faithful viewer, everybody.
He's on our team.
Mike Walter, Rob Ferre, they spoke.
They did.
It was fun.
I didn't actually get to see theirs.
Oh, wait a second. Mike Walter was on the main stage too.
Yeah, what, Tuesday?
Next. Marketing to Millennials, yeah, in the Cottonwood. Yeah. Got it. It's good to see Mike getting bigger stages like that because that dude deserves it. He's an incredible presenter. Love his presentation style.
Yeah, he does. He does a really great job.
Yeah. So overall, it was a good show?
It was a really good show. Like I said, it was a really good energy this year.
Had you been last year?
Yeah, I've been there for this is actually the first time in 8 years that I did not speak. So since Sarah went with me, since Sarah went with me, I was like, you know what? I think this year I'm just going to take this one off.
Got it.
And so I'll probably put something together for next year, but it was really nice not having to feel like the stress of presenting like the next day where I couldn't go out or I couldn't have a dinner with somebody. And I mean, that's the thing. Like when you go to these conferences, if you come in February, I would love to have dinner with you. I would love to sit down with people and just get to hear about their businesses, what's inspiring them, what's making them the best in their business. And I had some really great dinners and shared some really great ideas with people that again, that to me, that networking is such a powerful thing. So when people say, well, you know, the DJ trade shows are dying, I think that's why John jumped on this opportunity with Photo Booth Expo, because you look at their show last year with 4,000 plus attendees, and you have such a great energy in the DJ industry. So to get a lot of people with a lot of energy, you mix that together, I think you're going to have a great show in February. So
yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Take those opportunities to network, because you know what? It's going to be a great show. So speaking of that, it's DJNTV. What is it? DJNTV.com/tickets. You can get information and rates and all that stuff.
Yeah. /tickets/Vegas. It'll all get you there. If you're looking for a better deal than what's listed there, use promo code DJNTV Show 2020. And yeah, I know there's some Canucks. I know there's some fellow Canadians coming down for the show as well. So
Nice.
yeah, if anybody does want to connect, have dinner, what have you, I'm all in. Like if you want to pick my brain on something that Jeremy and I have talked about here, or something that I've written about, or whatever.
Something we should talk about.
Yeah, something we should talk about. Let me know. And a side note, if anybody's into mountain biking, this guy is already got a bike shop lined up in Vegas, Red Rock Canyon National Park on 2 wheels. If anybody wants to go, hit me up.
I will actually be flying in late Sunday night and probably leaving Monday night. So I have a quick trip. It's gonna be quick.
So if you want to book Jeremy, book him now for Monday.
We're gonna have to do a lunch.
This is wonderful. Excellent. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Jeremy, thanks for sharing a few of your nuggets from Wedding MBA. I really appreciate that. Some of the perspective that you were able to bring home. And yeah, let's do this again in a couple of weeks, eh?
Sounds good. We'll see you then, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.